What's going on, everybody? It is the Scene Snob Mick Manhattan here for the Scene Snob interviews. And I'm joined today, it's a very special episode. I'm joined by Karen Chiarini and Lisa Pietras. We are talking about, they're from the Media Film Festival group, and we're going to be talking about the Media Film Festival, and we're going to also be talking about the Fright Fest that is going on this Friday the 13th, November 13th, this Friday. So, Karen, Lisa, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. Hi.
Absolutely, and I'm always all about helping film festivals, indie filmmakers and such, and I love what I'm seeing, what you guys are doing. Can you tell me kind of how it started? This is your 10th festival, isn't it?
Actually, this would have been our 13th this year, but we didn't really have the full festival. So, but we still had the Fright Fest because we were able to do that through the drive-in in September.
Well, what's the because you're doing it in Glen Mills, Pennsylvania, I think it is. Yeah, Glen Mills, Pennsylvania, and which drive-in are you doing this?
So it's actually not a legitimate drive-in like a regular drive-in. It's a big farm that is known for the Bates Motel, which is one of the top Halloween haunted houses to go to. It's been on CNN. It's always in the top 10 or 20 for the U.S. And they started showing drive-in movies this summer, and we were able to get in there in September to show off our Fright Fest that would have initially been at the Media Film Festival back in April.
Nice. And so tell me some more about your Media Fright Fest. What does it entail? Like, how do you kind of go about it?
So usually during the general festival, they have the Media Film Festival. It's a 3-day festival, and on Friday nights they do a 90-minute segment that is just strictly horror. So we get 90 minutes out of the 3 days.
That's awesome. Awesome. And so how many horror films do you have now playing?
This Friday we have 11, which is great. And it might be a little over 90 minutes, right, Lise, since we added the 11th one?
Yes, and I believe the one that we had in September, I want to say it was 10 films, which was the most that they've ever had for a Fright Fest. And they come from all over the world. We had films from Iran, France, Australia, the U.S., and Canada.
Oh, that's awesome.
We're an international film festival.
Nice, very nice. I like that, and I love the drive-in aspect. I know with the craziness that is 2020, unfortunately, like everybody was limited. But horror movies and drive-in festivals go hand in hand, in my opinion.
Oh, especially here. I mean, it's a farm, so there's nothing there, and that's where everybody comes for this Bates Motel. So it was kind of a good match for us to have a drive-in, our first drive-in for the film festival. And what a perfect way to do it for Fright Fest. And that September evening, it almost felt like a Halloween night. It was exceptionally cool for the middle of September. So people had their blankets and everything. It was pretty cool.
And people were really happy, I think, to be able to get out and do something, especially horror related for that time of year. The energy was it just had that festival feel, which was really nice.
Yeah.
And it's really nice that you guys are bringing new content. It's indie. I think right now indie filmmakers are the saviors of our entertainment. With everything going on and with COVID and everything, like we're starved for new content, but indie filmmakers are who are putting out, in my opinion.
And I like the short film aspect of it because some people, they like horror, but they don't like a lot of horror.
Yeah.
So a 20-minute movie is perfect.
Right.
Oh, 100%. I agree. So let's go back to the beginning a little bit. So how did this come about? How did this film festival start for you guys?
Well, Lisa and I have known each other forever. So we met in middle school, and we have the same interest. And we started going to this festival, I don't know, maybe 5+ years ago or so. And then we saw a couple years ago, they were looking for volunteers, and we said, hey, let's check it out, see what it's like. And we went, we loved it. And they realized how much we loved horror because we go to all the different conventions. Monster Mania obviously is one of them. That's how I found you. And they just kind of started coming to us asking for suggestions and ideas and what the horror fest is all about. And you know, from there we just started. We help with the main fest too, but we really get into the Fright Fest, into the horror section. So that's kind of how we started getting involved ourselves.
That's very cool. I'm a big horror fan, so of course, you know, as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Yeah, I'm in." This definitely sounds amazing. So it starts. So the gate opens at 6:30, and things are getting darker now. So I guess around what time do you think everything will start?
It'll start at 7:30.
Nice. Okay.
They'll have, you know, it's like almost like an advertisement reel, so it'll have a little bit of content. And Bates Motel and Arisafa Farms, where it's being held at, they'll have some of their content on there too. Like I think they do for the holidays. I think they might be doing. I don't know about the hay rides because they had to stop them for Halloween, but they did like a walkthrough instead. So they might be doing something like that. At the time when they did it in September, they had previews of all the different movies that they were going to be showing through the fall. So they did a lot of the public domain movies. Mm-hmm. And they did some, like they did some old school ones too. Like they did, of course, Night of the Living Dead.
They did Psycho too, right?
I think they did Bride of Frankenstein too.
Yeah.
Solid choices.
Yeah, yeah.
So getting into it then, what does it entail? Like I'm very interested in like your prep, you know, you're prepping for this and you've had to divide it into two festivals of like a couple months apart, but what was everything? How do you go about reaching out to these filmmakers and having them submit and like kind of creating this whole thing?
That's the fun part. So we have on Film Freeway, there's two sections you can look at, one for Media Film Festival and one for Media Fright Fest. And Media Fright Fest is where you would submit any horror shorts that you have. So if you have a film that's 30 minutes or less, that would be acceptable to submit for the Media Film Fest on filmfreeway.com.
Nice. Okay.
So what happens is right now we're actually accepting films for the April festival, which we're not sure how that's going to be. Probably, again, a drive-in, I would assume. So what you would do is if you have anything that falls into that category, and even if you have something that, you know, if you have listeners that are not just horror-based, if they went to filmfreeway.com and just went to Media Film Festival, they accept comedy, thriller, dramas, documentaries, animation, like every genre would be accepted into that section. And then we as a committee get together in January, and after we've all reviewed these films, we have a rubric that we go through. You know, we discuss the films, we go from top to bottom of how everybody rated them. And from there, that's where we kind of get our selection for the festival.
Okay. So now I'm familiar with Film Freeway, and it's a great tool for film festivals. I've been very fortunate to be invited to be a judge on a few festivals this year, and it's been very nice to be able to just use that and kind of be able to get all your thoughts out. But for you guys, like, how many judges are there to kind of help you go through everything?
What do we have, Karen? Is there like 18 on the total committee, and then there's maybe 10 of us who do the horror films?
Yeah, I think there's 18 total for the committee, but even out of those 18, not everybody reviews the films. Most people do. Mm-hmm. And then a much smaller portion view the horror films. Yeah, maybe like 10 or less that view the horror films.
Nice. Okay. So
and a lot. I mean, how many hours was it last year, Lise? Like 40 hours worth of films?
It was, yeah, at least. I know the whole film festival together was like 100. What was it? 151 hours that we reviewed and pared it down from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wow. I mean, that's a lot of work.
A lot of binging.
So at least it's short films though, so it kind of works out, you know, because you're getting all different times, but It's nice, I'm sure.
Right.
So walk me through. So what are we expecting on Friday night? Like when you walk in? I mean, I know you have the drive-in aspect, but what are some things you do for the Fright Fest?
Please.
You know, our staff of Farms has been great to work with because they take care of everything for us pretty much. We have some of our volunteers who will be there to scan your ticket. So for the September event, everything was online sales. So there were no sales at the gate. I'm not sure if that's going to be the same thing for this one. I think we might be doing gate sales. So you'll just have your phone. There will be a person there to scan your ticket. Somebody will show you the way in. You park your car. You can get situated. There's a concession stand. So they had apple cider donuts last time. They might have some hot apple cider, some hot chocolate for you. And the audio is through your FM station. So it's 93.5, and you'll just turn it on and you'll be able to hang out and hang out and have a good night out. And we'll be doing COVID precautions. So everybody will have to be masked and stay, 6 feet from each other. But if you're sitting out in front of your car, or if you're in, with your car, you can take your mask off. But if you're walking around anywhere, you have to have your mask on.
That's great information, and it's good to. I want everybody to know that it will be safe to go out there, and I like that you guys are doing that.
Yeah, that's really important for us, for people to know too, because with cases rising, I'm sure there's a lot of people who don't even want to venture out anywhere. But this is going to be it's going to be a safe, fun activity for people. The other thing is, the price is per car. So you can load, if you have your germ pod and you have 8 people in your car.
Got to get the RV in there. So I love it. And again, I love the idea of doing it at the drive-in because I've been to the drive-in a few times here in Virginia this year, and it's just been so nice because I've always said that the drive-in to me is one of the most American things there is. And it's such a delightful event. Like you go to the movies and it's an escape, it's nice, you got to go be entertained. But I feel like going to the drive-in is an event.
Yeah.
I agree. I always loved going to the drive-ins, and as they started to die out, it was sad to see because one of the first movies that I remember seeing were at a drive-in. It was Planet of the Apes and Live and Let Die. I was 4 years old.
Nice. Great movies to go see at the drive-in, especially.
My parents had good taste.
And you guys are doing it at a farm, which I love too. Like you said, they're providing everything, like all of the concessions and stuff like that. That's fantastic.
And you can also bring your own concessions too. So you can bring your own food, snacks, drinks, whatever. It's not like it's not allowed. Mm-hmm. We try not to promote that because we're trying to give our staff a shout out too. But you certainly can bring your own, which again, you pack up your car, $25, and then you bring your own stuff. It's a pretty reasonable night out. And it's safe. Like you said, you don't even have to leave your car. So you're going to be around people, but you're going to be enclosed within your own space.
Yeah. But I'm going to say this to anybody listening right now. You'd better not bring your own food.
Yeah.
All right. You take care of our staff of farms. And,
we try not to do that, but I wanted to let you know you could if you really wanted to.
There's no fun.
If you want to bring a hoagie or something, you could do that.
All right, that's fair. Only because you're in Pennsylvania and you guys are famous. So, what are you guys most excited for in terms of what is there a certain movie that you can't wait for everybody to check out on the big screen or?
I have to say, He's Mine is one of the favorite movies that I've seen at the Media Fright Fest. It was a few years ago, and it was before I was volunteering, and it's only about a little more than 2 minutes long, and it's just the perfect bite of horror to me.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm looking at these pictures on your website as you go, and I'm just like, these just look fantastic overall. You know, you can catch us. It just looks beautiful in the screenshots. So, like, I mean, these are going to be some intense movies.
These filmmakers are so talented to, you know, to not really have a big budget and pretty much doing everything on their own. And these films all stand up on their own.
Oh, yeah. And the crazy thing, too, is the one in September, since that was a whole brand new slate of films that we never showed before, that was technically our April Film Festival films. So we had a winner. So we actually picked the best film for the evening. So everybody that was in attendance went to Facebook and they voted. And the winner was a film that was under 3 minutes, and it was fantastic. And, you know, looking around online on Facebook, I saw that Popcorn, I think it's called Popcorn Festival in Orlando, Florida. Mm-hmm. They had the same film win. So it showed down there, and it also won something. So I thought that was really cool that something that's so short has such an impact and was winning all these awards.
Oh, yeah. And it's just a testament to so many brilliant minds out there making movies. You know, and what they can do with such a short amount of time.
And it was really great, too, because the audio, we do, you know, these films in the festival are judged, and we have winners in each category. So we have, you know, a comedy winner, documentary, etc. And then we have a Golden Trolley winner. And this film that won for the Audience Fright Fest was actually also the winner of the Media Fright Fest, the judged films. So it was nice to see that the audience and the judges picked the same movie.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's I like getting a taste of like a few film festivals, especially being virtually. I worked on Skyline and a couple of others here in Virginia. And it is nice when you see that, like, and I love being able to talk to the filmmakers. I've had the good pleasure of doing that. They just get so excited, and it's so well deserved.
Yeah, it truly is.
So, what got you? You're film enthusiast, absolutely, I'm sure. I mean, so, what got you into it? What's it? Are you specifically like big horror fans, or are you filmmakers? How did that kind of work out for you?
I'm a big horror fan, but a big film fan in general. I mean, we even do a movie draft twice a year. You know, it's like the fall and the winter films and the summer and spring films. Obviously, that was canceled this year too because no new movies were coming out. But I love film. I'm not a filmmaker. I'm not a writer or anything like that. But I enjoy all genres of film. But I really like horror. Yeah.
Nice.
I did a semester when I first started college. My first major was radio, television, and film at Temple. But I'm not a filmmaker. I'm just an enthusiast, and I'm grateful to have, you know, to be in the Philadelphia area and have so many festivals and have access to so much good filmmaking. So that's basically it. I'm just a fan.
Yeah, and that's good to hear, and that's what you need. You need to have fans doing this because sometimes the filmmakers lose touch, I think, and it's the film fans kind of righting the ship, in my opinion. But so coming into it, I have to ask if you're horror film fans, especially. I gotta hear maybe your top 2 or top 3 horror films.
Oh, I should have been more prepared. I knew this was gonna. I have to come up with something for the second one, but my classic would probably be it's a tie between Halloween and The Shining. They're my 2 classics.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I love all genres of horror too. You know, I'm not as big on just a slasher flick, but I do like a good slasher flick once in a while. And the monster, the creature film, the psychological ones, possession, the Asian horror, you know, all of them. There's just so many good genres out there. But if I had to pick 2 of my all-time favorites, they would probably be my classics that I would pick.
Great choices.
Yeah, my classics are Halloween and The Exorcist. I'm a big
You broke up on the second one.
Oh, The Exorcist.
Nice. Okay.
Of course, I broke up on that one.
So
I coming up with a new one though. I thought about this question last night because I figured you were going to ask it. It's really hard to come up with a new one. There's some really good horror out there, but for some reason I can't think of it.
It's okay too. I mean, we're just coming off Halloween. I think Halloween has that connotation of classic horror movies. I mean, yes, new stuff is coming out, but I think people just gravitate towards like the comfortable choices. So.
Yeah, I was trying to watch some new stuff, and I did, but I also watched some classic stuff that I haven't seen in a really long time, like Evil Dead 2 and Hellraiser 2 and Pumpkinhead, you know, like those type of films that I saw maybe bits and pieces, or it's been a really long time. I couldn't remember anything. But, you know, there's a lot of really good new horror films out there too. And they're more of that psychological horror, kind of like the Babadook and, you know, what are the other ones? Oh my God, now I'm drawing a blank.
That was a big one. Yeah. I mean,
that's not really new. That's a few years old, but
they are coming out with some big ones. I would say indie horror films have been pretty big lately. I watched one recently called The Mortuary Collection, which was really good.
Oh, I saw that advertised. Is that good?
I really enjoyed it. It was a great anthology. And I like that filmmaker. I can't remember his name at the moment, but he did The Babysitter Murders as well, which is another good one. But yeah, so like I think right now, horror is the most that's coming out. So like we're getting the most, the biggest quantity of movies coming out right now are horror, because I think it's just what we're living through.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's a good escape. It's a good way to channel your anxiety and your energy.
Absolutely.
Instead of putting it out in real life, you can channel it into watching this movie and get that visceral feel and then have it be over with in 2 hours or less.
Well, with the Fright Fest, so this is the 2020 Fright Fest. Now, what has it changed for you? Do you think that going forward you might do it more in this this type of setting, or will you go back to the Media Film Fest, or how will it work out?
You know, we have some discussions going on of possibly trying to grow this, and I mean it's all in the talking stage at this point, but we would eventually like to have a film festival, like an all-day festival, maybe do a drive-in at night and then have vendors during the day, kind of like Monster Mania would be.
Nice.
We're not doing that, you know, anytime that I know of, but that's something that we're talking about, because there's definitely, there's a lot of people out there that are really interested in horror. And I think if we could do something like even like a punk rock flea market beforehand, and then you do your drive-in at night, or we go back to the theater, however we work it. But I think that's like a long-term goal. I think short-term goal, just with COVID-19 going on, I'm not really sure we're getting back into the theater in April. So it'll probably be another drive-in, which will be great. You know, people like it. So at least we have an outlet for it.
Oh, absolutely. And I love that idea of a festival all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, my like dream festival would be to do like a night market, and if we could get back in the theater, because the theater where we hold the film festival normally, it's from the 1920s, and it was an original movie theater, and over the years they've renovated it, and the people who run it and own it, they do a really good job, and they only do musicals, except for the Media Film Festival. That's the only time that they show really any movies or anything. So it's got, you know, it's ornate, it's classic. What I would like to see happen is kind of like a night market. You have your vendors, and then you have the theater there to be able to go and watch these movies. You can come out, grab something to eat, shopping. That's like my dream
That would be really nice if we could do that once this is all said and done and we get back to some kind of normalcy, because where the theater is it's on State Street in Media, Pennsylvania, and that is just one street loaded with a ton of restaurants and shops, and the theater's right there. So it's conducive to, I mean, they have all kinds of festivals and jazz nights and stuff like that. So they shut the whole street down. I mean, that's something big. But the theater is beautiful. So I would love to get back into the theater at some point.
Yeah.
And, you know, and jump off from there. But when that's going to be, I'm not really sure. So, you know, like I said, I'm just grateful that we at least have someplace that we can do the drive-in and still get all of this great work out there and get our name out there and enjoy it with some other people that enjoy horror just as much as we do.
Yeah.
The
State Street in Media is a little like a small version of King Street in Alexandria.
Okay. That's a beautiful area to have it too. And even if you could kind of, you know, mix it where, you know, you're on State Street, but you could also go check out the drive-in. I don't know how far away it would be.
It's not that far, but if we were on State Street, it would just be great to have it back in the theater. I mean, it's a nice theater.
Oh,
and State Street's just like, that was a great, like Alexandria, Virginia, it's very similar. It's not as big, but very similar in the feel with all the restaurants and the shops, all independent shops and restaurants.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I mean, and that's a perfect setting, I think, for any film festival. And you get the horror fans in there, and they come out in droves for sure.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, I think our committee has been shocked at how much horror is appreciated and wanted, because they're always like, we have to do more with the Horror Fest. So the other thing that we're hoping is, you know, we were only able to do the Horror Fest this time, but we're hoping that for 2021, we'll be able to have our 90 minutes in the 3-day festival, but then also have a separate Horror Fest. And I think there's enough content, and I think there's enough interest for that to be successful.
Okay. I like that. And I hope anytime you guys are doing this, please come back on and let's talk about it. Let's talk about what's going on. I'd love to do just kind of a rundown on everything. I love supporting filmmakers, independent filmmakers. I love horror, so I'm always all about it.
Yeah, so the filmfreeway.com that we have under Media Fright Festival, that would be where you would submit the horror shorts, and those submissions for now would be for us to review for the April Fest. And then what will happen is we'll probably try and do another Media Fright Fest, say in September, like we did this year. And then we'll probably open Film Freeway up again to get more submissions. So,
Nice.
you know, you getting the word out there, it really helps us get more submissions that we have. And maybe if they don't go into the April Fest, we could do it in September. We can take those films and use for September.
Sweet. All right.
Yeah.
So before we, oh, I'm sorry. What were you saying? Oh, I thought you said something. My apologies.
Oh, no.
So before we close out, I kind of want to, I always kind of like leave it with like a little bit of a light question, because I'm always interested in film fans' perspectives. What are give me your top remote dropper movies. You are sitting on the couch. You're not moving if this movie is on TV. The remote is just dropped.
Oh, God. That's a lot of comedies for me. For some reason, comedies will suck me in more than a horror film will. Just because I find comedies hard to find that I really like. So anything, like a big, like old school and the 80s ones, the 80s comedies, like 16 Candles and stuff like that.
Nice.
They always kind of grab me.
Jaws, Pulp Fiction, and Raiders of the Lost Ark: The Last Crusade. I will sit through any or all of them at any time.
I love that. Those are great choices. So,
Trading places. That one gets me all the time too.
Nice. Well, ladies, I thank you so much for coming on the show today. I'm really looking forward to this. And I want everybody, please go out and support. This is an awesome thing you guys are doing. I just please tell us again where what's the website where we can go find tickets. It will be in the description, so you can click. But if you guys give us a heads up on that.
So for tickets, you go to mediafilmfestival.org. And if you want to submit a film, you can go to filmfreeway.com. If you're trying to submit a horror short, you go to Media Fright Festival. And if you have any other genre, you just go to Media Film Festival.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, again, this has been awesome. So we're Media Fright Fest is this Friday. It's at Asfara Farms in Glen Mills, Pennsylvania. Gates open at 6:30 p.m. Get out there, go support some horror shorts and independent filmmakers that are out there, and especially support the film festival and the farm. I think that's the most important. Do not bring food. So thank you so much, everybody. I really
appreciate it.
So until next time. Is there anything else you guys want to promote before we go, or anything like that besides the festival?
Support the arts.
Yeah.
People need, artists need us.
100%. I could not agree more. And yes, absolutely. Support the arts is always the way to go. Thank you again for joining in. And everybody, thank you for listening. I am Mick Manhattan. This is The Scene Snob. You can follow us at The Scene Snob on social media. Please hit the like and subscribe button here on our YouTube channel or on our podcast channel, wherever you're listening from. And until next time, I will talk to you guys later. Take care.
Thanks so much, Nick. Bye-bye.
Bye.